Good morning, good evening, good night, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you're at. I'm in Mexico. Check this out. I'm looking west. I'm showing you the sun going down. Pretty extreme. There's no filter on this at all. It's about 1700 hours, about 5 o'clock. Right there, I just want to show you that little double sun action going on. I freeze that frame for you. But now I want to establish that the west, the sun went down in the west. And that's a little bit northwest, okay? No, it's pretty west. Because the camera's kind of pointing towards the south a little bit. But it's pretty amazing sunset, right? Wouldn't you say? Well, keep watching, because I'm going to show you some other light sources at the same time, just a couple hundred miles away. Now that's west. Right there is west. Let me find some music for you folks for this crazy film. Crazy capture. Right there, north. Now we're looking north. I'm going to find you some music. Keep watching. And right here, guys, I want to take you to a north sky. And that was just a little quick preview of it. And I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse this. It'll be pretty quick. I'm going to show you 3 locations, all showing the north sun. So here we go again on this location. Well, you're going to end up me showing you those 2 sites from the beginning. Right there, that quick clip, you know. So keep watching. Add some music. Now my take on this, folks, is on the left there, it's panoramic, so on the left is west a little bit, and on the right is east a little bit, okay? So I showed you the sun going down in the west. It was a high west, like towards the north, so that could be the final sun going down, and on the right, the other color you'll see will be Nemesis, red dwarf planet, wormwood, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, I'm not up there, but pretty fascinating. Keep watching. So as you can tell, I brought the gamma down, the gamma, and in doing so, you see that dark object in the middle there separating the northeast area from the northwest area. Well, I'm just speculating it might be a big old celestial body. But you be the judge. Keep watching. Here's a little music for Sarah. Now keep in mind, folks, when I show you videos, I'm relaying a prophetic message, an allegory. And I add like what I feel in the spirit, not in the natural. Natural, I'm terrified. But in Jesus, in the spirit, looking at this in the north is absolutely amazing. So what you hear on sound is not to drive you away, but it's, you can turn it down, but it's basically, this is how my heart's feeling right now. So you guys come in here scared from lies, but when you come in here and watch the truth, and like the north right there, I mean, how can you explain that, right? So now here's the music for Sarah I picked out.
The Book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 1.
Now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Chebar, that the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God.
In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chebar. And the hand of the Lord was there upon him.
And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself. And a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. And every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides. And they 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man, and the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side. They 4 also had the face of an eagle. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. And they went every one straight forward. Whither the Spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures, with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. And the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. When those went, these went. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above. And under the firmament were their wings straight, the one toward the other. Every one had 2, which covered on this side, and every one had 2, which covered on that side, their bodies. And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings like the noise of great waters, as the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech, as the noise of an host. When they stood, they let down their wings. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood, and had let down their wings. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward. From the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw, as it were, the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake.
Now friends, look at that thing right underneath that bright sun looking object. We're looking more towards the east on this one. And there's still stuff going on like you've seen before. And actually out of 3 of these cameras, I could only find the location for one of them. But after investigating and looking at what came up in all 3 cameras, I knew it was facing north. This is more perfectly north, actually, and then the left there, the bright, is the west side. But the object underneath that bright light is really got me, because it's in all 3 pictures in different ways. At one point it looks like ships, another point it looks like stairs coming out of heaven, one point it looks like a building. It's a different picture, so pay attention to that. But on the right, the colors are totally different than the left. So I don't know. You see how there's a trail of smoke running right behind that little lower white light? Like right there, there's a ship right there, and I noticed it in a couple of them. But you know, this is like a documentary on what happened that day in Mexico. So I'm in Cozumel, and I'm in Cancun, and I think I looked from Cancun to the west in an earlier shot. And if you didn't watch the beginning, you won't understand what's happening now, so you need to go back. So the next one, I think it's more towards the center again. So keep an eye open and enjoy the music. So now we're in Mahahula Quatana Ru Indio, which I have no clue what it means. But this is direct north, just a short piece because most of the video was gone. There was no pictures of it, but look at that. In the north at about, let me see, about 4:30. And I'm trying to get the times on there, guys, because I do so much footage, I forget sometimes to stamp it, so, you know, my bad. But anyways, I want you to see this one. I'm going to show you another one, I think. Hang on. And here's my last clip here, guys. This one is closer up, it seems, pointing more northwest than northeast. So you see both objects pretty clear, both light sources pretty clear. Look at the water. Now, from what I understand, the energy source, like the big white light right there, is throwing its own light source on the water. That's normal. But when you see multiple, sometimes they're clouds, but you could tell the distinct difference. Let's see what happens with this. It could be a planet, you know, a celestial body reflecting the sun, a really big one and a small one. And the sun is still going down in the west or the southwest, right? We've seen that. It's crazy. You tell me. Crazy, crazy. Subscribe, like. If you want to tip me or donate to my ministry and what I do, just go down to PayPal.
Revelation 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet,
Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, and smoke, and brimstone. By these 3 was the 3rd part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.